You're just hype, kid. Your name means nothing here. When I was your age, I was already a champion. You're just noise. The words fall like lead into the empty gymnasium. The voice is hoarse, tired, but carries the weight of decades of glory. The man speaking sits alone in the stands, watching an 18-year-old who dominates the court as if he owns the universe. LeBron James stops mid-play, the ball still bouncing beside him, and slowly turns his face. His eyes meet the old players, a forgotten legend, a name once chanted by crowds, but now just a shadow sitting on a cold wooden bench. LeBron smiles. It's not a smile of respect, it's a smile of contempt. Legend, he says, his voice thick with youthful arrogance. Legend of what? Of a time no one remembers anymore? Look at you, old man. Here you are, alone, watching someone who truly matters. I am the future. You are the past. And the past is useless. The silence that follows is so heavy, it seems to suck the air from the gym. The old player doesn't respond. He simply stands slowly, his knees creaking with the movement, and walks toward the exit. His footsteps echo on the hardwood floor. LeBron dribbles again, chuckling softly, as if this were just another easy victory. He doesn't know, he still can't know, that those words will haunt him like ghosts. That this man, despised and ignored, carries a story that could have taught the young king something no title ever could: humility. The gym's lights begin to dim. LeBron trains alone, sweat dripping down his face, muscles tense, eyes fixed on the basket. He's a machine. He's unstoppable. He's empty, but he doesn't realize it yet. He still believes basketball is about being the best, about crushing rivals, about proving the world wrong and him right. He believes being king means never kneeling, never apologizing, never looking back. But the past has a peculiar way of coming back. And when it does, it doesn't ask permission. 3 years pass. LeBron James is now a superstar. His name is on billboards, commercials, magazine covers. He is the chosen one, the king. At 21, he already carries an entire franchise on his shoulders. Cleveland adores him. America watches him. The world waits, and he delivers. Game after game, he dominates. Triple-doubles, impossible dunks, passes that defy physics. But there's something missing. Something no one can name, but everyone feels. He wins, but does not conquer. He shines, but does not inspire. He leads, but does not unite. On a cold January night after a crushing victory against the Pistons, LeBron sits in the empty locker room. The team has already left. The reporters have already written their stories. The gym is silent. He looks at his hands, large, calloused, perfect for holding a basketball. He should be happy. He should be proud. But there's a void he can't fill, a hole in his chest that no amount of applause can fill. He picks up his phone, scrolls through the screen. News about him, praise, criticism, comparisons to Jordan, Magic, Kobe. He tosses the phone onto the bench next to him, closes his eyes, and for a brief second, the old player's face comes back to him. That man sitting alone in the stands, that weary look. Those words LeBron dismissed. You're just noise. He shakes his head, trying to push the memory away. It doesn't matter. That was years ago. He's bigger now, better, richer, more famous. That old man doesn't matter. No one from the past matters. Only the present, only the glory, only him. But the memory doesn't disappear. It stays there, pulsing softly like a distant drumbeat. The season progresses. LeBron leads the Cavaliers to the playoffs for the first time in recent franchise history. The city is ecstatic. The streets are filled with jerseys bearing his number. Children paint their faces with his colors. He is a god walking among mortals, and he knows it. He feels it. He uses it. In the decisive game of the first round, LeBron dominates. 48 points, 15 rebounds, 9 assists. He carries the team on his back and leads them to victory. The arena explodes. Confetti falls from the ceiling. He raises his arms, absorbing the adoration as if it were oxygen. This is the moment. This is the glory. This is everything. But in the hallway leading to the locker room, he sees something that makes him stop. An old man, leaning on a cane, watches from afar. It's him, the same man from the gym, Older now, fragile, but his eyes, the same tired eyes, still carry that silent weight. LeBron hesitates. For a second, something inside him tells him to come closer, to speak, to ask. But pride wins. He looks away and moves on, entering the locker room to cheers. That night, alone in the hotel, LeBron can't sleep. He toes, the screen loads slowly, and when the results appear, LeBron feels his stomach sink. The man wasn't just a forgotten legend. He was one of basketball's greatest untold stories. A player who, in the 1970s, was compared to Oscar Robertson. A brilliant point guard who led an unknown high school team to a state title, who earned a full scholarship to an elite university, who was drafted in the first round, who had everything ahead of him, until a knee injury in his second year in the NBA destroyed everything. LeBron reads about the failed surgery, about the rehab that never worked, about the dream that died at 23, about the depression that followed, about the bankruptcy, about the broken marriage, about the years of silence, and then he reads about something that makes him stop breathing. The veteran player spent the last 20 years working as a janitor, in gyms, cleaning courts, sweeping locker rooms, watching others live the dream that was ripped from him. LeBron throws his phone away. He sits on the edge of the bed, his hands shaking. For the first time in his life, he feels something he's never felt before: shame. The next few days are strange. LeBron keeps playing. He keeps winning. He keeps getting cheers. But something has changed. He looks at the court differently now. He sees the janitors mopping the floor before games. He sees the security guards at the doors. He sees the invisible people who make the show happen. And for the first time, he actually sees them. He tries to forget. He tries to focus on basketball. But the image of the old player won't leave his mind. That man who had everything and lost it all. That man LeBron, humiliated without a second thought. A week later, LeBron makes a decision. He asks the Cavaliers' public relations team to track down the former player. They resist at first. They ask why. LeBron doesn't explain. He just insists. 2 days later, they return with an address. A poor neighborhood on the outskirts of Akron. A small house with peeling paint and an overgrown yard. LeBron drives there on a rainy afternoon. He's wearing a cap and hoodie, trying not to be recognized. He parks in front of the house and sits there, staring out the fogged-up window. He sees movement inside, a dim light on, a silhouette passing by the window. He gets out of the car. The rain falls lightly, wetting his face. He walks to the door and knocks 3 times. The sound echoes hollowly, silence, then slow footsteps. The door opens. The old player stands there, thinner than LeBron remembered. He wears a worn t-shirt and worn-out pants. His eyes widen as he recognizes the visitor. "LeBron James," he says, his voice emotionless. "What do you want?" LeBron opens his mouth, but no words come out. He's rehearsed this 1,000 times along the way. But now, in front of this man, all the words seem empty. I came to apologize," he finally manages to say. The old gambler is silent for a long moment. Then he steps back and opens the door. "Come in," he says simply. The house is small, simple, a living room with an old sofa, an old television, and faded photos on the walls. LeBron sees images of the old player in his youth. College uniforms, NBA games, wide smiles. A world that no longer exists. They sit in silence for a few minutes. The rain drums line on the roof. LeBron doesn't know where to begin. The old player just watches, waiting. "I read about you," LeBron finally says. "About what happened?" "About your career." "I didn't know. When I said those things that day, I didn't know." The old player nods slowly. "You were young, arrogant. I was once like that too." "That's no excuse," LeBron responds, his voice breaking. "I humiliated you. I treated you like you were nothing, like your past didn't matter. But it does. You matter." The old player sighs deeply. He struggles to his feet and walks to a shelf. He picks up an old shoebox and opens it. Inside are yellowed newspaper clippings, photos, and a deflated basketball. He picks up one of the clippings and hands it to LeBron. "Read it," he says. LeBron picks up the paper. It's an article from 1976. The headline reads, "Marcus Turner, the Future of Basketball." There's a picture of a 20-year-old smiling broadly, holding a ball. He reads the article about the records, about the expectations, about the undeniable talent. And then in the last line, something that makes you freeze. Turner says he will play for 20 years and retire as the greatest of all time. LeBron looks at his old player, Marcus Turner, and you see something on his face you've never seen before, peace. I was like you, Marcus says calmly. I thought basketball was everything, that being the best was everything, that nothing else mattered. And then, in some random Tuesday game, my knee blew up. And it was all over, just like that. In a second, he sits back down, his hands shaking slightly. It took me 10 years to understand that that injury was the best thing that ever happened to me. LeBron frowns. What do you mean? Marcus smiles, a sad but genuine smile. Because it taught me that I wasn't basketball. Basketball was just something I did, but it wasn't who I was. And when I lost that, I had to figure out who I really was. Without the lights, without the applause, without the glory. LeBron stays at Marcus's house for 3 hours. They talk about everything. About dreams, about failures, about pride, about pain. Marcus tells stories he's never told anyone. About the nights he thought about giving up. About the days he couldn't look at himself in the mirror. About the moment he decided he wouldn't let loss destroy him. You know what I do now? Marcus asks, his eyes shining. I coach kids from the neighborhood who have nothing, who come from broken homes, who think basketball is the only way out. And I teach them what no one taught me, that basketball can open doors, but it can't define you, that you have to be bigger than the game, because the game will end someday. All games end. LeBron feels a lump in his throat. He thinks of all the years he spent obsessing, all the times he measured his worth by the scoreboard, all the times he treated people like obstacles instead of human beings. I was an idiot, he says quietly. No, Marcus replies. You were human, and now you have the chance to be something greater. As Marcus leans forward, his eyes fixed on LeBron. You have a gift, a talent few possess, but talent without character is just noise. And you, LeBron, have been a lot of noise, but you can be more. You can be an example. You can be a true leader, not just on the court, but off it, where it really matters. LeBron feels tears burning in his eyes. For the first time in years, he cries. There in that small house, before a man he once despised, he lets his armor fall and allows the truth to reach him. He was wrong about everything. When LeBron finally gets up to leave, Marcus walks him to the door. The rain has stopped. The sky is clear, stars shining faintly. Thank you, LeBron says, his voice hoarse. For having me. For listening to me. For not hating me. Marcus puts a hand on LeBron's shoulder. I don't hate you, kid. I never have. I just wanted you to learn. And it looks like you're starting to learn. LeBron nods. He gets in the car and before driving off, looks out the window. Marcus is there in the doorway watching. He raises his hand in a simple gesture of farewell. LeBron nods back, and for the first time in a long time, he feels something other than emptiness. He feels hope. The following months are different. LeBron continues to play at the same level of excellence, but something has changed. He no longer plays just to prove a point. He plays because he loves it, because he respects it, because he understands that basketball is bigger than him. He starts arriving early to practice, to chat with the groundskeepers. He learns the names of the security guards. He greets the cameraman. He treats every person in the arena as if they matter, because now he knows they matter. His teammates notice. Zydrunas Ilgauskas pulls him aside after a practice and asks what's changed. LeBron smiles and simply says, I met someone who taught me something important. He doesn't give details. He doesn't turn Marcus's story into a headline. He doesn't post about it on social media. He doesn't use it as a marketing tool. He keeps it to himself, a sacred secret, a lesson only he and Marcus share, but actions speak volumes. And people notice. At a game against the Miami Heat, LeBron sees a kid in the front row holding a sign. The message is simple. LeBron, you're my hero. He stops during warm-ups and approaches. The kid's eyes are wide, trembling with emotion. LeBron crouches down, getting to his level. "What's your name?" he asks. "Tyler," the boy stutters. "Tyler, do you play basketball?" The boy nods quickly. "So promise me one thing," LeBron says, gripping the boy's shoulder. "Promise me that no matter what happens, you'll be a good person first, a good friend, a good son, a good human being. And then, if you want, you can be a great player. But first be a great person, okay?" The boy swallows hard and nods. LeBron smiles and pats him on the head before returning to the court. He doesn't know it, but the boy's mother is filming the whole thing. The video will be posted that night, and it will go viral within hours. But LeBron doesn't care. He did it because it meant something. Because Marcus would have done the same. The season ends with the Cavaliers being eliminated in the second round of the playoffs. It's a painful defeat. The criticism comes like an avalanche. LeBron isn't enough. He'll never be Jordan. Cleveland is doomed to failure. The words hurt, but not the way they did before. Because now, LeBron knows his worth isn't in titles. It's in who he is when the lights go out. The night after his elimination, he drives to Marcus's house, unannounced, unplanned. He just drives. When he arrives, he sees the light on. He knocks on the door. Marcus opens it, surprised but smiling. "We lost," LeBron says simply. "I saw," Marcus replies. "I should be devastated. But isn't it?" LeBron pauses to think. "I'm sad, but not destroyed, because I gave it my all. I played with my heart. I led my teammates. And in the end, it wasn't enough. But that's okay, because I know I'm more than a win or a loss." Marcus smiles broadly. "Now you understand." They go inside. Marcus makes coffee. They sit at the small kitchen table, drinking in silence. After a while, LeBron speaks. "I want to do something. For you. For the kids you coach. I want to help." Marcus frowns. "What do you mean?" "I want to build something. A community center. With courts, study halls, mentoring programs. A place where kids like me, like the ones you coach, can have a chance. And I want you to lead that." Marcus is silent for a long moment. His eyes grow moist. "LeBron, you don't need to." "I need to," LeBron interrupts. "Because you saved me. You showed me there's something bigger than me. And now I want to pass that on. But I can't do it alone. I need someone who understands, someone who's lived it, someone who knows what really matters." Marcus wipes his eyes with the back of his hand. He laughs softly, shaking his head. "You've really grown up, kid." LeBron smiles. "I had a good teacher. The years pass. LeBron becomes one of the NBA's biggest stars. But he never forgets Marcus's lesson. He launches the LeBron James Family Foundation. He builds the I Promise School in Akron. He offers scholarships. He creates programs for at-risk children. And through it all, Marcus is by his side. Not in front of the cameras. Not in the spotlight. But behind the scenes, where the real work happens. They've worked together for years, training, mentoring, changing lives. And with every kid they help, LeBron remembers that day in the gym. Those cruel words he said. That arrogance that nearly destroyed him. In 2012, LeBron finally wins his first NBA championship. It's a moment of absolute glory. Confetti rains down. The crowd roars. He holds the trophy high above his head, tears streaming down his face. But when he steps off the stage, the first person he looks for isn't a teammate. It's not a coach. It's not a family member. It's Marcus. He finds him sitting in a chair backstage, smiling proudly. LeBron walks over to him, kneels down, and hugs him tightly. "Thank you," LeBron whispers, "for everything." Marcus tightens his grip. "You did it, kid. You became the man you were meant to be." "No," LeBron says, pulling away and looking into Marcus's eyes. "We did this, together." More years pass. LeBron wins more titles. He breaks records. He cements his legacy as one of the greatest of all time. But for him, the most important achievements don't happen on the court. They happen on the streets of Akron, in the schools he helps build, in the lives he helps change. Marcus continues to work with him, now as director of the foundation's mentoring program. Together, they coach hundreds of kids. They teach not just basketball, but character, not just skill, but humanity. And each of these kids carries on the lesson Marcus taught LeBron. You are greater than your talent. You are defined by how you treat people, by how you respond to failure, by how you use your success. On a fall afternoon in 2018, LeBron gets a call. It's from the hospital. Marcus has had a heart attack. He's stable but weak. LeBron cancels everything and rushes there. When he enters the room, he sees Marcus lying in bed, pale but smiling. "Hey, champ," Marcus says weakly. "Don't say that," LeBron replies, sitting next to the bed. "You'll be fine." "I know," Marcus says. "But in case something happens, I need to tell you something." "No." "Listen," Marcus interrupts, taking LeBron's hand. "I forgave you that day in the gym, before you even apologized, because I saw in you what I was. And I knew that, given the chance, you could become something special. And you did, not because of the titles, not because of the records, but because of the man you chose to be. And I'm so proud of you, LeBron. So proud, LeBron can't hold back the tears. They fall freely, wetting his cheeks. He squeezes Marcus's hand. "You saved me," he says, his voice breaking. "I was lost, and you found me. You showed me the way." "No," Marcus replies softly. "I just reminded you of who you always were underneath all that arrogance. The heart was always there, LeBron. You just needed to find it." Marcus recovers. The scare serves as a reminder to both. Time is precious. They intensify their work. They expand their programs. They reach more communities. And with each step, LeBron carries with him the fundamental lesson: success without purpose is empty. Glory without humility is empty. Power without compassion is empty. In 2020, amid the pandemic and social turmoil, LeBron uses his platform to advocate for justice, to speak out against inequality, to amplify silenced voices. And with every action, he hears Marcus's voice in his head. "You have power. Use it for something greater." He creates more than a vote, an organization to combat voter suppression. He speaks openly about racism, about injustice, about the need for change. And yes, he faces criticism, lots of criticism. People say he should shut up and play basketball, that he should stay out of politics, that he should just entertain. But LeBron won't be silent, because he's learned something crucial. Silence is complicity, and he won't be complicit anymore, not when he has the power to make a difference. One night, after a particularly tough game, where the opposing fans booed him mercilessly, LeBron calls Marcus. "It was tough today," he admits. "Sometimes I wonder if it's worth it. If talking about these things is worth the hate I get." Marcus responds with the wisdom that only decades of life can bring. "LeBron, when you were young, you played for applause. Now you play for purpose. And purpose will always bother those who don't have any. But don't give up, because there are kids watching you. Kids like you were. Kids like I was. And they need to see that it's possible to be great and to be good. That it's possible to have power and to have principles. Keep going. For them." LeBron takes a deep breath. "Thanks, Marcus. I needed to hear that." "Always," Marcus replies. "Always." In 2023, LeBron becomes the all-time leading scorer in NBA history. It's a record that seemed impossible, a milestone that cements his statistical legacy forever. The arena erupts in celebration. Legends of the past are present. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the previous record holder, greets him with respect and grace. But when LeBron takes the mic to speak, he doesn't talk about himself. He talks about everyone who helped him get there. His teammates, his coaches, his family. And then he does something unexpected. "There's a man here today," he says, his voice echoing through the arena, "who changed my life, who taught me that basketball is more than points, more than records, more than glory. He taught me that being great means lifting others up. It means using your gift for something greater." "Marcus Turner, where are you?" The camera pans and finds Marcus sitting in the stands, tears streaming down his face. The crowd starts to cheer. LeBron points at him. "Marcus, you are the real MVP of my life. And I love you, man. Thanks for saving me when I needed it most." The entire arena rises to its feet. The applause is deafening. Marcus covers his face with his hands, sobbing openly. And in that moment, everything closes. The circle is complete. The arrogant boy who mocked a legend has become a humble man who honors his masters. After the ceremony, LeBron and Marcus meet in a private room. They embrace for a long, silent moment. No words are needed. Everything that needed to be said has already been said. Everything that needed to be felt has already been felt. Do you remember that day? LeBron finally asks. In the gym, when I said those horrible things. Marcus smiles. Of course I remember. If you could go back in time, would you change anything? Would you answer me differently? Marcus thinks for a moment. Then he shakes his head. No, because that moment led you to this one. That pain led you to this purpose. And look where we are now. Look what we've built together. Sometimes the harshest words plant the seeds of the greatest transformations. LeBron nods slowly. I spent so many years hating myself for that moment, feeling guilty, and that feeling made you better, Marcus replies. But now it's time to forgive yourself, completely. You're not that boy anymore. You've become the man you always had the potential to be. They stand there, two men separated by decades, united by a story of redemption that transcends basketball. A story of broken pride and conquered humility, of arrogance transformed into purpose. You know what's funny? Marcus says, looking out the window at the empty court. When my career ended, I thought my life was over too. I thought I'd never amount to anything again, that my name would be forgotten. And I was right in a sense. My name was forgotten, but my purpose was found. And in the end, purpose is infinitely more valuable than fame. LeBron feels a shiver run down his spine. Those words touch something deep inside him. He looks at his own hands, the same hands that have scored more points than any other player in history. But he knows those hands have done more important things. They built schools. They hugged scared children. They lifted up communities. They held Marcus's hand when he was in the hospital. I'll keep going, LeBron says with determination. When I retire, the work won't stop. The foundation will continue. The programs will continue. And I want you to stay with me, wherever the road takes us. Marcus smiles, that tired but peaceful smile. As far as the road takes us, the following months are a whirlwind. LeBron plays his final season with the same intensity as always, but with a different lightness. He knows that every game could be his last. Every moment on the court is a gift, and he treats it as such. He plays with joy, with passion, with gratitude, but it's off the court that the most important things happen. The I Promise School is thriving. Graduation rates are skyrocketing. Kids who were considered lost causes are now going to college. Entire families are being transformed. And at the heart of it all is the principle Marcus taught. You are greater than your circumstances. One day, LeBron receives a letter. It's from a 16-year-old boy named Jamal. He writes, Mr. James, I just wanted to say thank you. Not for the basketball, not for the titles, but for showing me that it's possible to come from where I come from and still be someone. My dad's incarcerated. My mom works 3 jobs. I thought I had no future. But then I joined your program, and Mr. Turner told me something that changed my life. He said, your past doesn't determine your future. Your choices do, and I chose to be better. I chose to study. I chose to dream. And now I have a full scholarship to Howard University, and it's all because of you two. You saved me, and I promise I'll pass that on. LeBron reads the letter 3 times. Each time the tears come harder. He brings it to Marcus. They read it together in silence. And when they finish, they look at each other and know, this is victory. This is legacy. This is what truly matters. This kid will never score 40,000 points. Marcus says softly. He'll never have his name in headlines. He'll never have millions of followers. But he'll break a cycle. He'll change a family's trajectory. He'll show his own children there's another way. And that, LeBron, that's immortality. LeBron folds the letter carefully and tucks it into his pocket, close to his heart. You know what I realized? He says. For years I chased the Jordan comparison, the Magic comparison, the Kareem comparison. I wanted to be considered the greatest of all time. And now I understand that was never the right question. The question isn't who's the best player. The question is, what kind of man are you when the game is over? Marcus nods. And you found your answer. With your help. No, Marcus corrects. I just held up a mirror. You had to choose what to see. LeBron's final season comes to an end. Not with a championship. not with a moment of sporting glory, but with a dignified first-round playoff loss. He's 40 now. His body is tired. His knees ache. His back is complaining. It's time. The final game is emotional. The entire arena rises to its feet as he leaves the court in the final minutes. Teammates, opponents, fans, everyone pays tribute. He hugs everyone on the bench. He thanks the coaches, the trainers, the doctors, the invisible people who made it all possible. At the post-game press conference, the questions are predictable. About regrets, about legacy, about where he ranks among the greats. But LeBron dodges them all and gets straight to the point. You want to know about legacy? He says, looking directly into the cameras. My legacy isn't the points. It's not the titles. It's not the statistics. My legacy is the kids who go to the school I helped build. It's the families who have a home because of the programs we created. It's the young people who learned they can be more than their circumstances. That's my legacy. And I didn't do it alone. He pauses, takes a deep breath. Many years ago, I was an arrogant kid who thought he knew it all. And I met a man who had every reason to hate me. But instead he taught me. He guided me. He showed me what it truly means to be great. Marcus Turner, if you're watching, I need the world to know. You are the reason I am who I am. Not LeBron James the player, but LeBron James the man. Thank you for saving me when I needed it most. The room falls silent. There are no follow-up questions. There's no need. Everything has been said. Retirement is strange at first. LeBron wakes up on a Tuesday, and for the first time in 20 years, there's no practice, no game, no preparation, just silence. He sits at the kitchen table drinking coffee, staring out the window. Part of him misses it. He misses the adrenaline, the competition, the noise of the arena. But then her phone rings. It's Marcus. Good morning, retiree, the familiar voice says humorously. Ready to get to real work? LeBron smiles. What do you have in mind? We have 15 new kids in the program this week. Some of them are struggling. I thought you might come talk to them, not as LeBron James, the basketball player, but as LeBron James, the human being. I'll be there in 30 minutes, and so begins the next chapter. LeBron spends his days working with young people, not just teaching them basketball, but life. He shares his story, his mistakes, his lessons, and every time he speaks, he sees Marcus watching from the back of the room, smiling proudly. One afternoon, he's working with a 15-year-old named Derek. The kid is talented, but he has an attitude. He reminds LeBron of himself at that age. Arrogant, convinced he's better than everyone else. Why should I listen to you? Derek says with contempt, you were great once. Now you're just an old man who can't play anymore. The words cut, but LeBron isn't fazed. He recognizes the pain behind the arrogance, the insecurity disguised as confidence. He's been there before. You're right, LeBron says calmly. I'm old, and I can't play like I used to. But you know what I can do. I can tell you a story about a kid who was just like you, who thought he was invincible, who treated a good man like dirt because he didn't understand that respect is more important than talent. Derek crosses his arms, but he's listening. LeBron tells everything. About that day in the gym, about the cruel words, about Marcus, about the shame, about redemption, about the lesson that changed everything. And when he finishes, Derek is in tears. I don't want to be like that, the boy whispers. I don't want to be a bad person. You're not, LeBron replies, placing his hand on the boy's shoulder. You're just young and scared and trying to prove something. But you don't have to prove anything, Derek. You just have to be you, the best version of you. And that starts with humility. Derek wipes his eyes. How do I do that? You choose. Every day, in every interaction, with every person, you choose to be better. And when you fail, because you will fail, you apologize. You learn, you grow, and you try again. Marcus walks over, watching the interaction. He places his hand on LeBron's shoulder and whispers, You're doing exactly what I did to you. LeBron looks at Marcus and smiles. I learned from the best. The years pass. LeBron and Marcus continue working together, touching life after life. The foundation grows. Programs expand. More schools are built. More families are helped. More young people find hope. Derek, the arrogant kid, transforms. He graduates from high school. He receives a scholarship. And most importantly, he becomes a mentor to the younger boys in the program. He shares his own story of transformation, of broken pride and learned humility. In 2028, Marcus turns 80. The foundation organizes a celebration. Hundreds of people show up, young people whose lives he touched, families he helped, communities he transformed. The night is magical. Laughter, tears, stories, gratitude. LeBron prepares a speech, but when it's his turn to speak, he abandons his notes. He just speaks from the heart. Marcus Turner taught me that greatness has nothing to do with statistics, he begins. It has nothing to do with fame or fortune. Greatness is measured by the impact you have on the lives of others. It's measured by the kindness you spread, the love you give, the difference you make when no one is watching. He pauses, looking directly at Marcus. I've scored 40,000 points in my career. But if I could trade every one of those points for one more day with this man, teaching one more kid, saving one more life, I would do it in a heartbeat. Because he showed me that points disappear. Records are broken, but lives changed. Those last forever. The room erupts in applause. Marcus is openly crying. LeBron steps down from the stage and embraces him. And in that embrace is everything: forgiveness, gratitude, love, redemption. Everything that matters. In the spring of 2030, Marcus begins to slow down. He's 82 now, and his body is finally taking its toll on decades of hard work. He still goes to the community center, but less often. He still mentors young people, but with more pauses. He still smiles, but with more effort. LeBron notices and worries. He visits Marcus more often now. They sit in the small garden behind the house, which LeBron renovated years ago, and talk about everything and nothing. About the past, about the present, about legacy. Are you scared? LeBron asks on a hot July afternoon. Of death, Marcus replies. No, I did my part. I lived fully. I loved deeply. I made a difference. What more can a man ask for? More time, LeBron says, his voice tight. Marcus smiles gently. Time doesn't matter, LeBron. What matters is what you do with it. I've had 82 years, but the last 25 working with you have been worth 100. They've been worth 1,000. Because they were dedicated to something bigger than myself. I'm not ready to lose you. You won't lose me, Marcus says firmly. I'm in every kid you mentor, in every life you touch, in every choice you make to be better. I'm in you, LeBron, and through you, I'll be in everyone you teach. That's immortality, not living forever, but living in others forever. LeBron swallows the lump in his throat. He knows Marcus is right, but that doesn't make the pain any easier. In October of that year, Marcus was hospitalized. Pneumonia. His body was too tired to fight. The doctors were honest. It was a matter of days, not weeks. LeBron cancels everything. He doesn't leave Marcus's side. He sleeps in an uncomfortable chair next to the hospital bed. He holds his old mentor's hand, whispering stories, remembering moments, thanking him. On the third night, Marcus wakes briefly. His voice is faint but clear. LeBron, he whispers. I'm here, LeBron replies, leaning in. Do you remember what I told you that day? In the gym, when it all started. That I was just hype. Just noise, Marcus smiles weakly. I was wrong. You were never just noise. You always had substance. You just needed to find it. And you did. You became everything I always knew you could be. Because of you. No, Marcus says, squeezing LeBron's hand with what strength he has left. Because of you. You chose to change. You chose to grow. You chose to be better. I simply showed you the way. You walked it. They are silent for a moment. Just two souls connected by an unlikely journey. From contempt to redemption. From arrogance to humility. From emptiness to purpose. I love you, Marcus, LeBron says, tears falling. You saved me. I love you too, son, Marcus replies. And then, with a last peaceful sigh, he closes his eyes. The monitor beeps. The nurses rush in. But LeBron already knows. Marcus is gone. He stands there, holding the still warm hand, and cries. He cries for everything. For the arrogant boy he was. For the man Marcus helped him become. for the friendship that defined them, for the love that transcended basketball, and then through the tears he smiles. Because Marcus isn't gone. Marcus is in every lesson LeBron carries, in every life he touches, in every choice he makes to be better. Marcus lives, and he will live forever. The funeral is enormous, not because Marcus was famous, he never was, but because he mattered. Hundreds of people show up, young people he mentored, families he helped, people he touched with his quiet kindness. LeBron gives the eulogy, and it's the most important speech of his life. Marcus Turner never scored 40,000 points, he begins, his voice firm but emotional. He never won a championship. He never had his name in the headlines. But he did something infinitely more important. He changed lives, one at a time, with patience, with love, with humility. He looks out at the crowd, young people crying, adults with their hands over their hearts, children who never knew Marcus, but understand the impact he had. I was a lost kid, LeBron continues, full of talent but empty of character. And Marcus found me, not when I was at my peak, but when I was at my lowest, without even knowing it. And he taught me the most important thing anyone can learn, that you are what you do when no one is applauding. His voice breaks. He stops. He takes a deep breath. Marcus once told me that immortality isn't about living forever. It's about living in others forever. And he was right. He will live in each of us, in every choice we make to be kind. In every moment we choose humility over pride. In every life we touch with love. He looks up to the sky. Thank you, Marcus, for everything. For believing in me when I didn't deserve it. For teaching me when I didn't want to learn. For loving me when I was hard to love. You saved me, and now it's my turn to save others. In your honor, forever. 5 years pass. LeBron is 50 now, gray hair, wrinkles around his eyes, but with a glow he never had when he was young. A glow of purpose fulfilled, of inner peace, of a life well lived. The foundation is now one of the largest in the country. Dozens of schools, hundreds of programs, thousands of lives touched, and at the center of it all, in large letters at the entrance to the main complex, is the name, Marcus Turner Community Center. LeBron goes there every day, not because you have to, but because you want to. He works with young people. He shares stories. He teaches lessons. And always, 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 he talks about Marcus, about the man who changed everything. One day, a 14-year-old boy pulls him aside. His name is Elijah. He's quiet, shy, but with a fire in his eyes. Mr. James, he says hesitantly. Can I ask you a question? Of course. Why do you do this? You already have everything, fame, money, legacy. Why are you still here working with kids like me? LeBron smiles. He's answered this question 1,000 times. But it never gets old. Because a man taught me that talent is a gift, but character is a choice, he replies. And I choose to use my gift for something greater than myself. Just as he did. Just as I hope you will. Can I be like you? Elijah asks, his eyes shining. No, LeBron replies, placing his hand on the boy's shoulder. You can be better. You can learn from my mistakes. You can start with humility where I started with arrogance. You can be kind from the beginning where I had to learn the hard way. You can be the best version of yourself. And that's infinitely better than being like anyone else. Elijah smiles. And in that smile, LeBron sees hope, sees the future, sees the cycle continuing. That night, LeBron returns home. He sits in his office, staring at the photos on the walls, titles, records, moments of glory. But his favorite photos aren't these. They're the simple ones. He and Marcus laughing. A group of kids graduating, a family receiving the keys to a new house, people whose names the world will never know, but who matter infinitely more than any trophy. He grabs a pen and paper and begins writing a letter to himself. To the future, to anyone who needs to hear it. Dear reader, if you're reading this, it's because I'm gone. But before I go, I need to tell you something important. Life isn't about being the best. It's not about fame or fortune. It's not about records or recognition. Life is about impact, about the lives you touch, about the love you spread, about the difference you make, I learned this the hard way. I was arrogant, cruel, empty, and a man I despised saved me. He didn't do it because I deserved it. He did it because he was good. And that kindness changed everything. So if you take anything from my story, let it be this: be humble, be kind, be more than your talent. Because in the end, when the lights go out and the crowd goes home, all that's left is who you chose to be when no one was watching. Choose well, choose love, choose purpose, and when you fall, because you will, get up, learn, grow, and be better. Marcus taught me this. Now I pass it on to you. Use this lesson well, with love and respect. LeBron James. He folds the letter and puts it in an envelope. One day, someone will need it. Someone will be as lost as he was. And maybe, just maybe, these words will make a difference. LeBron gets up and goes to the window. The night is clear. Stars shine. He looks up and whispers, "Thank you, Marcus, for everything. I promise I'll keep going. I'll pass on your lesson until my last day." And then, with a peaceful smile, he goes to bed. Not as a king, not as a legend, but as a man who has learned that true greatness lies not in how high you climb, but in how many people you take with you. A man who understood that arrogance is weakness, disguised as strength, that humility is strength, disguised as kindness, and that the only victory that really matters is the victory over yourself. LeBron James mocked the legend. He dismissed the past. He believed talent was everything. But Marcus Turner, the man he humiliated, taught him the most profound truth. You are not what you achieve. You are what you choose to do with your achievements. Basketball gives you a platform, but it's up to you whether you use it to elevate yourself or others. LeBron made poor choices at first, but through pain, shame, and redemption he learned. He grew. He became more. And today his greatest legacy isn't the points. It's the lives. It's the young people he saved. It's the families he transformed. It's the love he spread. Because in the end, when the dust settles and the noise quiets, all that remains is one simple question. Have you been kind? That's the only question that matters. That's the only victory worth having.